Start. And we're live.
Hello and welcome to the Weekly Poll! As usual, I'm Benny the Comic Historian, that is Sal from Comic Pop, that is Rob from Marvel Explained, because I didn't change it, but it's actually Comics Explained, you all know that. That is Faust from It's Super Effective. No, it has nothing to do with Pokemon, he just likes the terminology. And this is the Almighty, the All-Incredible, the All-Encompassing, the only one of us who's, I think, over 500,000 over here, Eris from Variant Comics! I want to do like a WWE intro for you, you know, like, he will smack at the down of everyone!
I appreciate it. It was very epic.
All right, guys, today, as usual, we're going to be going over our topics and we're going to be discussing things, and it's going to be fun, and you guys are all going to enjoy it. And Rob is going to vape, and Sal is going to interrupt everybody, and I'm going to pretend I'm paying attention, but I'm playing a 3DS game. It's going to be great.
It's going to be
But
standard.
today's topics are going to be Convergence. We're going to discuss the 8 or 9 releases from last week, and we're also going to be discussing the Daredevil TV show. But we've already agreed previously to this that we are going to be holding off on any Daredevil spoilers, right? We agreed. Like we'll do so.
We could
we'll do
spoil
some
like
stuff
the
from
first
beginning of
two
it.
episodes, maybe.
Yeah, like
Unless the chat is overwhelmingly like, don't.
the first 2 or 3 episodes are open game as far as we're concerned right now. Everything beyond that, because I haven't even gotten past episode 6 yet. So,
Oh god. Yeah, man, I watched it all.
And
well, not all of us do a 13-hour live stream in which we just eat food on camera.
The show was so good. Oh my, like no spoilers. It only gets better, and I'll leave it.
it's
at that.
funny, just jumping into Daredevil, I don't want to circumvent Convergence or whatever that would be, but like, I'm actually kind of disappointed that they're doing Iron Fist and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage now, because all I want is a season 2 of Daredevil. Like, the more I'm watching Daredevil, the more I'm like, we're getting to the end. There's only 13 episodes. I really don't care about Luke Cage. Let's get more Daredevil.
Yeah, okay, you know what? I'll agree with you. I don't care about Luke Cage, but I do want to see Jessica Jones and the Purple Man, and I do want to see Iron Fist. Iron Fist on screen is going to be great.
Yes.
I don't know about that, but
Oh, dude, I think it's gonna. Dude. I'll tell you. Here's exactly what it's gonna feel like. Watching Danny Rand on Netflix is gonna feel like a throwback to the 1970s kung fu movies.
I would
That's
take like a
exactly what it's gonna feel
6-episode
like.
mini-series of Iron Fist. I don't know if I can handle 13 episodes of Danny Rand.
Oh, dude, I would love- but here's the kicker. Like as dark as Daredevil is right now, you know, with you guys up to issues number, or I guess episodes. I keep saying issues. Episodes number 6 and 7 and so on. Like, if that show's as dark as it is, imagine what Jessica Jones is going to look like if they stick with Alias and they go with her Purple
very
Man
similar,
origin
but with
story.
more rapiness in it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But it's great because it's Netflix and they can get away with that. So
Yeah, I'm actually amazed with how much how much envelope pushing is happening, but then how much like how careful they are about it, so that if ABC, let's say, decides like, oh crap, this is doing really well, you know, we're just gonna launch it on ABC. Like we're next year, 2016, we've got like a really slow week, or Castle finally gets canceled. We'll just throw it on there, and then we'll just dub over any really objectionable curse words, because they like anytime they curse, it's like, ugh. So you're like, okay, they could fudge that.
yeah.
What do you think, Eris, about the whole Daredevil and the show's coming up soon? I guess we're going to open with that. And then
Yeah,
we'll
I'm
do
sorry.
Convergence.
I love it so far. I was really shocked because this is, as most people know, and I'm sure all you know, it's connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes.
So for me, I've been saying from the beginning that with Luke Cage, the Defenders short or miniseries coming out after this, Jessica Jones, all that stuff, Iron Fist, this is a way for them to get more characters out to put into the Civil War movie, because you're going to need a lot of superheroes. That's my theory, so they can just throw them in there. But I was really shocked just because how dark it was. Like in comparison to like Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, all the movies, like it is like complete opposite, which I love. But I was just like, how is this going to work with like the fun kind of poppy vibe of the Avengers and stuff when Whedon or the Russo brothers get a hold of it? Because I don't know if they're gonna have to tone it down a little bit,
Right.
or kind of, I don't know how that much, but I love this show so far. I love how they're going the Frank Miller route.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I'm not there yet, but I think there's an episode titled Stick. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they get really into that and stuff. So I just really, it keeps shocking because there's a lot of moments like a Walking Dead moments where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe he did that. Like, they took this guy's eyeball out or whatnot. It's like, that's crazy.
No, I agree with you. The moment that I'm sorry, one sec, Faust. Let me just, I didn't technically interrupt Faust. He didn't talk yet. So, Well, I was gonna say I agree with you, Eris, because the moment, without going into explaining what happened, that an arm gets broken and like you see the bone exposed and everything,
Yeah.
I'm like, how is this going to work with Captain America and Thor? Because like you said, they're all poppy and fun, and like I just had these images of like, you know, Captain America and Daredevil meeting, and Daredevil goes to one of the thugs and he beats him up and he breaks his arm, and Cap's just like, oh my god, like, why did you do that? I beat up 25 guys and no one's injured. Why?
Yeah, when I hit them with my shield, they just went like kabong, and that was it. It wasn't a crack.
Or there's especially, I'm not going to say what it was, but there's something with a rib. That's all I'm going to say that they do, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. I
was like, this is awesome.
I was like, oh
I
my
mean,
god,
yeah.
really?
Yeah, that was awesome.
I mean, I think it should probably work, but it will be a lot like when a character from a dark comic appears in a light comic, just because, like, if you pay attention to what Marvel's done at the moment, even compare Captain America Winter Soldier to the Avengers movie, two very different tonalities, but same character, and it worked. And they even just changed the costume to make it work and changed the color palette. So I think if just subtle things like that, it will probably work. But with a big change like Daredevil into like an Avengers movie, it will probably be a bit like, oh, I'm slightly uncomfortable here.
Yeah. Oh, there's no
It
way
makes
that
me
they're
have
gonna-
weird feelings.
There's no way that Daredevil becomes an Avenger, but I could definitely see him being the Spider-Man character in Civil War. Like where he does the identity reveal.
Well, I see, but then they've already pretty much said now that we got Spider-Man, like that's
Yeah, but like you can't unmask Spider-Man in your movie if you're going to make him in high school.
Well, no,
Because
but see,
you can't put the genie back in the bottle with your cinematic movie verse. By
and
doing
all they'll
So-
just do a movie for one more day or brand new day.
It's not going to do that.
So do you think they might role reverse Spider-Man and Daredevil in Civil War, where Spider-Man's the one that gets arrested and Daredevil's the one that does the identity reveal?
That could be. I definitely think that Daredevil's going to do the identity reveal because we've had almost 20 years of Daredevil being out. It's already pretty much an established character, like a trait for him to be publicly known as Daredevil. So I think that that's like a natural thing for them to do. They could just be like, oh no, we Marvel Cinematicked it, where we took this thing and we just did our own version of it. But I don't know about Spider-Man. He definitely is going to be in it, but I think that he'll probably be more like a MacGuffin. Like Spider-Man got captured, and I know he's just a kid, and we have to go break him out, like that kind of thing.
oh, okay. Well, I mean that would kind of make sense. I could see that, but see, here's kind of
If they do reveal Daredevil,
seriously just gonna
yeah, I'm
interrupt me
serious.
like
I'm
that?
gonna totally go right over your hair. Just gonna totally do this because I want to say just real
You know
quick.
what? Fine, man. You and your hair, just talk. Oh my God, man.
I'm still trying to compete with Faust. It's not working. No, because I wanted to say real quick. Because think about this real quick, just with what you're saying, Sal, about Daredevil being the reveal. What that would do for Netflix Daredevil season 2. That whole season could be about him dealing with that.
It would just be the Bendis run.
Yeah.
Just basically what they're like. That's what everyone wants. Like season 1 is clearly just Frank Miller's Daredevil. Season 2 could be Bendis's Daredevil, and season 3 could be Mark Waid's Daredevil.
Ooh, Mark Waid's Daredevil.
Right?
That'd be
Okay.
great.
So now that the hair is done talking,
But actually,
Benny's-
Rob,
that's
hold on,
Benny's
Rob.
new
Just
nickname, by the way, the hair.
Rob, just one second.
Oh my God, man. Anyway, so all right, so here's a question. Here's something really cool. Like as far as I understand it, Captain America 3 Civil War, that's supposed to start Civil War. Like it's not supposed to be the entire Civil War film encompassed, or the entire Civil
think
War
it's gonna be the
concept
whole thing.
encompassed in one film. Like as I understand, it's supposed to start it. Like that's because I mean, like that would make the most sense to me. Now, if they did that, if they said, okay, Captain America 3, and that starts Civil War, then that gives you the entire second season of Daredevil.
Right.
And that gives you the entire second season of Jessica Jones and Luke
And
Cage.
Luke
And
Cage,
well,
yeah.
not really Jessica Jones because she'll just take off and go to Canada and that'll be it.
Right.
But like,
Yeah.
So what you're saying is they're going to stick to being very true to Civil War by having a whole bunch of totally irrelevant spin-offs.
Right.
I
I don't think they're going to do
that's
that.
nonsense. The spin-offs were great. The tie-ins to the story were great. But no. I mean, at that point, it's just fanfare. It's just kind of what I would be hoping for. Assuming that they do keep it confined to one movie, I think that idea makes the most sense because using Daredevil, an established character, and saying he keeps his identity hidden, and I guess maybe switching his role with Spider-Man would be interesting. But I think one of the big reasons why there was the big push for Spider-Man in Civil War was so that people could turn around and we could have the big Spider-Man moment where he reveals his identity to the world. Like that was the pivotal Spider-Man. That's why Spider-Man was important in Civil War, because he revealed his identity and then gave credence to Iron Man's entire stance on registration.
Well, it was just a stunt that wasn't even something that Miller wanted to do in the first place, and so you can have that moment with Daredevil. I think people just I think that people who don't know the comics or have a very cursory knowledge of them are going to be like, Spider-Man is directly associated with Civil War. I don't remember why, but I know that like Spider-Man and Civil War are synonymous with each other, so he needs to be in it.
Well, I'm just saying that I want the relationship with Tony and Peter Parker.
Bingo.
Because I also want to see the Iron Spider suit. Like, if he's in that movie and we don't see the Iron Spider suit, I am going to be pissed. I'll be livid.
I honestly, like, not really switching gears, but getting into it with, like, the Ant-Man trailer, which finally a trailer that actually matches the tone of what Ant-Man's supposed to be, with Ant-Man trailer 2.
Yeah, that was great, by the way.
Looks great, and you get to see Yellow Jacket for the first time.
Yes.
That Yellow Jacket suit reminded me of the Iron Spider suit.
That's the first thing I thought when
And
I
I'm
saw it.
like,
the
they're gonna
stuff,
do.
yeah.
I think that.
The best moment in that trailer is the Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh my god!
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, I
Like,
love
Nick
this.
Fury to show up at the end. Thomas, you're in.
See, I don't watch trailers, but I'm going to see the Avengers next week, and I'm terrified I'm going to be forced to watch the trailer because I can't walk out of the cinema, and I'm just going to to be like, no.
No, you should do it and make a big scene about it too. You should be like, no, I'm not doing this.
So for everyone who isn't familiar, Faust is going to see the premiere.
No, not the premiere. It's just a screening.
A screening of Avengers before all of us, which means you're going to get the Star Wars trailer.
Oh boy, I know so much about Star Wars. I mean, I've seen all of them many times.
Well, you only need to see 3 of them. The point being is that finally
No
we're going
love
to get
for
a
Jar
Star
Jar?
Wars movie. That's
No love for
exciting.
Jar Jar.
I've never seen anything to do with Star
Oh my
Wars.
God.
I've
You've never seen
read a
Star
Star
Wars?
Never read a Star Wars comic, never played a Star Wars game, but I know exactly what happens because it's everywhere.
Well, yeah, it's literally in my blood. And
So Daredevil.
Drug-
Now that we're talking
basic,
about
man.
Star Wars.
you are in a singular way, my friend. You could. Ooh. That's cool.
No,
It's like a unicorn. Like someone who hasn't seen Star Wars, who's also into this culture. No one else, really? All right.
No, I mean, I'm
Sal is
excited.
just
I'm
least-
excited to see
Forget it.
Star Wars. Like I didn't realize that the trailer for Episode 7 was coming out with Age of Ultron, but
I
now,
think so. Chat will probably dispute me, but we'll see.
yeah, well, now that makes
Well,
me even,
yeah,
that
we'll
makes me even
dispute
more
me.
excited because like half the fun is going to see the trailers, which
Yeah.
like 9 times out of 10 are usually crappy, except for like 1 or 2.
Yep.
But if going into the trailers, people are like, "We get to see this trailer for Star Wars Episode 7," I'm like, "Yes, old Mark Hamill." I'm so excited. Like I'm kind of excited. Now here's okay. So anyway, getting back to the topic
Yes.
of Daredevil. Here's my
Daredevil.
question for Eris. So with what you've seen of Kingpin so far, like what's your take on Kingpin's character? Because I love him.
I love it. It's especially like when they first introduce him for the first few episodes after they introduce him. Like I'm on episode 6, so I haven't seen. I still have half the season to go.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, it's crazy to see like the tone. I guess the actor's going with, where it's very much like a not sort of sappy, but like a kind of like I'm trying to put my fingers on the word. My finger on the word.
Misunderstood.
Misunderstood. He's very soft spoken. He's not like the straight like in your face tough guy. They're
Yeah.
taking like the very like backseat approach where he'll beat the crap out of you. But it's very different from like people you see stuff in like the Spider-Man animated series, which I'm sure that everyone's seen that.
That's like
So-
definitive Kingpin for a lot of people.
Exactly. That's what. So I like it. I mean, I kind of was expecting something different, but I'm enjoying it so far. I think it fits in with this world they're creating, where it's very dark. It's more realistic to me. That's why like this almost seems like the Dark Knight of Daredevil to me,
Yeah.
in a sense. Just
it's
because,
very much like Kingpin Begins. That's
right. Yeah. It's
I
like a
feel like the
crime
whole entire
drama.
series
Yeah.
is like just taking the whole concept of Batman, basically. Like I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, this is Marvel's Batman." I'm like, this does feel like Batman Begins, like that kind
Doesn't-
of like.
Scott Snyder even tweeted out that he wishes that, you know, the Batman in the Nolan films fought like Daredevil in here, because in the Nolan films, Batman's just like, he's just like blocking and like,
yeah,
stuff.
he just
It's not really, like,
stands there until everyone gets exhausted. But
My suit will protect me.
yeah, the people who are making Gotham must be just like crapping themselves, right? Because I'm sure it's a fraction of the cost of making Gotham to make Daredevil, and you actually get the freaking character in your show, and he's cool. Like,
Yeah, you can write him pretty much any way you want to.
like you could just like wouldn't like well, we don't have to talk about the wasted potential of Gotham, but like just you know, it must be frustrating for them, because this pretty much is just a Batman show, but like, you know, but Marvel.
It's kind of like Arrow, where Arrow is pretty much just Batman.
Right?
Oh, it is. 100% is.
Oh yeah, no question.
You know what I think it is when it comes to Batman, Gotham, Arrow, even the Daredevil? DC is scared to do the Batman show because I have a feeling they're like, if it bombs, that's it. We never get a Batman show again. Like,
right? But that's like, come on, you're gonna get you could reboot Batman 6 more times in the next 3 years, and everyone will go. Just
Batman
because
Forever, Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin, you know what? Batman and Robin torched the franchise. You know, people freaking saw Batman and Robin. Everybody. And
it's just like how they say every Transformers movie kills the franchise, but it's the highest grossing film of that year.
Right.
Like, it burned the franchise down. Everyone saw it, so they can all say it sucked.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, like the final Transformers movie has like a 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it made like $750 million or something stupid like that.
The movie is really bad.
It is
really
terribly bad. Like it's. I
think
mean,
we
Mark
just
Hamill's like
Transformer.
Mark.
But
what is his name? Mark Wahlberg's the only
Wahlberg?
defining
Marky
character,
Mark.
Yeah, in the
Amazing.
whole thing. But no, like here's to me, like, I love the Kingpin in the show so far, and here's exactly why. Here's why I love the Kingpin. The Kingpin in the show so far reminds me of Rise of Kingpin. That came out in 2003 or something like that, and that was like Kingpin's rise to power. It was like that comic was basically like, we're gonna take the Godfather, and we're gonna replace Michael Corleone with Wilson Fisk.
With Wilson Fisk.
And then we're going to publish it as like a 6 or 7 issue limited series. And it's going to be really good. And it was an extremely good series, but it chronicled his rise to power, which I really, really enjoyed. And that depiction of Wilson Fisk is what reminds me of the Wilson Fisk in the Netflix series. Not only that, like, he's an amalgamation of different kinds of Wilson Fisk. I mean, you see elements of Spider-Man the animated series, and you see elements of Frank Miller's Wilson Fisk Kingpin when he brought him over from Amazing Spider-Man. Like, you see all these different elements of Kingpin thrown into the character, and that, I think, is really what makes him such a great version, is because a lot of people look at him, and 5 different people will see his character, and they'll all see something different, depending on what stories they read and which version of the Kingpin they thought was the best, which I thought was pretty solid. I thought it was pretty cool.
I wanted to ask everybody about this. Eris, I wanted you to lead off on this discussion. But the fight sequences for Daredevil compared to like the movies and stuff like that. Because for me, the moment that sold me on the show, the first episode did okay, but it was the fight sequence at the end of episode 2. The almost no cutaway sequence where it's in the hallway and you just see him beating on like all these different guys, and they don't cut away except for when they pan around it, which may have been a cutaway or whatever, but it's still a lot of long-held sequences. And in general, I personally enjoyed the fighting sequences because of that, because it wasn't just a bunch of quick cuts with Captain America throwing a punch, shaky cam, Captain America throwing a punch, shaky cam. It was, we're going to steady this cam, and you're going to see Daredevil fight.
Yes.
What do you guys think about that?
Well, I love it. Like, I feel like the fight sequence or choreography in this is like similar to The Raid. I don't know if any of you have seen those movies where,
I haven't seen that
just where it's the very long, like you said, very long shots with just, you know, they're panning. I mean, they probably do cheat cuts, stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But it's like, you can tell like this is like stuff that they've done for like hours and hours over and over. Like, it's one of those things where like you mess it up, okay, the next 2 minutes you're gonna have to do all over again. And I just like, it's very realistic too, because he's not always, you know, winning with ease. Like, you see him like droggy and like on the wall and stuff like that.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's just really realistic, and I don't know, it's pretty much what I'd want for, going back to what people were saying, for like a Batman film. Like, I hope Ben Affleck's like that, where, you know, he's like jumping off the walls, doing spin kicks, you know.
Yeah.
He looks like he knows a bunch of forms of martial arts, not just like, you know, one style, or he's a boxer like his dad or something.
That's the Batman that I've always missed, is the detective who's also well trained. Like, we completely don't get the detective in the Nolan verse. Like he shoots the bullet into the 6 different walls, but like that's not detection. That's having a lot of money.
Yeah.
Looking at the thing. Like, but no, him actually like investigating a crime scene and actually gleaning some information from it and being smarter than the police would be interesting. And him actually being able to deflect blows using many different martial arts. That is Batman, and yet somehow only the games have gotten that right so far.
Right.
We will
I agree with you.
we will never get that Batman, because for that type of movie, people would have to think.
Oh
And
my
people
God.
don't like thinking. People complain when they have to think. Mother of God.
I think we'll get that Batman in the Justice League because Batman will be able to not be the focus of the movie, and so he'll be able to be like smarter than everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I've always said forever, I just want them to make the Arkham games into a movie. That's all you have to do, and everyone will be happy.
Yeah.
Just literally make it a live-action movie.
Yeah, it's proof in the success of the games. Like clearly, it's a successful game. It would make a successful movie. Yeah.
But back to Daredevil, the fighting is great. I mean, I love it. It's but I also like the fighting in Captain America: Winter Soldier. I thought that the opening scene with the stealth, where he's all like that. It's just fantastic. So I have no complaints.
I mean, I enjoyed that too, but I do agree with you on the whole thing about him being exhausted, showing like a realistic human person. And I mean, I wasn't saying Captain America's fight sequences are bad. I just prefer the Daredevil style better because I can see what the hell's going on. It's like, like at the beginning of Captain America with him and the guy that's going to be a villain, but they're like fighting.
Oh no,
yeah.
the Batroc, the Leaper.
Yeah, the Leaper. That was it. Yeah, and the two of them fighting. That was a good sequence too. I'm just not a fan of fight sequences where it's so shaky that you just don't know what's going on.
Yeah, the Bourne effect.
Right, and they could have very easily have done that with Daredevil. I mean, Faust, what do you think about the fight sequences? You haven't said too much lately.
Well, in terms of fight sequences, in a technical standpoint, if you chop them up, they're going to look more family friendly. So that's why they've done that. They show to seem really adult. They're holding everything still, so you see everything. But there is, I'm impressed by it because there is a huge risk in doing that. Because if you don't do that right, there was actually a spin-off to Sailor Moon, a live-action version of Sailor Moon that had fight scenes called Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, and they wanted you to see everything in the fight scenes. And it was terrible because it wasn't well choreographed. So it was a risk, and it seems to have worked perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, like for me, the fight scenes in Daredevil, I think took elements from like John Wick, and it took elements from Old Boy. Like the scene in Old Boy where he's like fighting through the building, and it's literally that shot from Daredevil where he's fighting in the hallway, and like multiple times over, where it's just one gigantic take of him beating up a whole bunch of people. Now in Old Boy, he's breaking more bones and and all kinds of stuff, killing people and so on. And it's far more gruesome, but that's exactly what it felt like. And to me, to see all that done in one take is impressive.
Yeah,
like
very.
that was just unbelievable.
Or
to see.
one take.
Well,
But
okay.
Yeah.
As far as we're concerned, it was one take.
It works. You know what? Editing is an art form, and if you know what you're doing, it doesn't matter. Like, I'll take it. I would rather have a really sweet-looking one-take shot than a, like, cut-to-crap Bornean fight.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I agree. I agree with Eris and you guys that the best element of the fight scenes was that he was getting tired. Like the question would be like why isn't he just easily crushing this guy? Like he should be destroying this guy. Like and then just move on to the next guy. And it's not like that. Like he throws through 2 or 3 punches and you see the fatigue kicking in.
Yeah.
And you see he's just like, oh my god, like I'm really getting tired of fighting these guys.
Yeah.
I like that sequence in the second episode there because I'm really referencing that one because it's not too spoilery. I mean, a lot of people probably watched that one by now. But my favorite sequences in that is him and the other guy both getting exhausted.
Oh my god!
And they're both just going like, ugh.
On that same note, I like the almost, I don't know if it was even an intentional Batman homage, but the new Batman stuff, when he's done with the fight and then he goes to the boy and he's like, I'm here to save you. It's like, that stuff is all so heavy and I'm just, oh my god. And I have to pick you up and take you out of here. Like, yeah, that was amazing. It was
So
just
keeping with our Daredevil topics here and
Totally.
everything like that. I mean, another thing that I noticed about the Daredevil TV show, which is actually a thing that I've had a few people get into the Marvel shows based upon this being the fact. But every movie and everything has not really focused too much on their real lives. I think Captain America's gotten the closest to focusing on, hey, he is a guy from the 1940s dealing with being in the current world. Because even in Agents of Shield, they don't focus on their real lives. It's always Agent Coulson, top secret Shield stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, how do you feel? I'd like Eris you to open it and Faust you to take this one second because the three of us talk a lot already. So, but I was curious, how do you guys feel about them really focusing on Matt Murdock, the lawyer, and Foggy and Karen Page, and they're not focusing on them as, hey, they're just side characters to push Daredevil along, but as in, no, he is a lawyer and he's taking cases, and Foggy's trying to do this, and they can't even afford the Wi-Fi. And what do you think about that?
I love it. I mean, I love. I actually like it more when you use your supporting characters because it helps drive the story. You know what I mean? They're there to help tell different angles of the story. You don't always. I mean, clearly we're there to watch Daredevil. It's a Daredevil show, but without the supporting characters, it gets a little tiring, and it helps his character with I don't. It's hard to. Spoiler, but when characters are worried about him if he's missing or it just adds a lot of another dynamic and elements in there, which is really cool. So, and then it could even like little twists in the end and stuff. So I love when they focus on supporting characters because some supporting characters in some movies I actually like more than the main characters depending if they're written well. So like Foggy, well, I don't know if any of you guys noticed that Foggy is actually from Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
I was like, because I was like, where are you from? That's right.
He
I
was
remember
really
him from
familiar. I could
Butterfly
not figure it
Effect.
out.
Yeah,
he was in
He
Butterfly
was in
Effect with
Butterfly
Ashton Kutcher.
Yes.
There you go.
But he's also really likable. Like I like how they're making him, really likable and kind of goofy, but still serious. So I'm liking the relationship he has with his little lady that they hired.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what do you think about it, Faust? Having the whole real world aspect to Daredevil being so prominent in the show.
I mean, I absolutely love it. I mean, if anyone who watches my stuff already knows this, but I'm not the biggest fan of action. I like it being there. I think it has its place in this genre, definitely, because that's kind of what it's based upon. But I love mundane stuff, and I love the drama.
I love
my
the day to day. Get his coffee.
I want to talk about fax machines.
the comic that I think had one of the best stories last year, and it got cancelled, and I'm still pissed off about that, was She-Hulk. Because no one would read it, because they were like, oh, don't like the art. The art is horrible. And it's like, no, no, shut up and read it. So with this focusing on the mundane and the drama, I love it, and every second of it.
Yeah.
I mean, Rob, you watched all of it. You're the only one. So, how do you feel? I've only seen episode 6, and up to this point, we really see the lawyer side. Do they just go away, and you're like, oh, finally, whatever?
Surely I'm not
I think you're the only one.
who's seen all of it.
I think is anyone else finished it?
Watched the whole series yet?
Yeah, I'm only on episode
Wow.
7.
Yeah.
And Faust just started watching it yesterday or something. I remember you sent the little message over. Hey, I got home finally.
Yeah, no, without spoiling it, there's definitely a lot more emphasis on the personal life of Daredevil and his co-stars, Foggy Nelson and Karen Page, than everybody else, and that's what I love. I agree. That's one of the things that I really love about this series is there's so much emphasis on the character's life. And I think I even mentioned that when I was talking about the life of Kingpin or whatever it was, media versus comics or something like that, is all the other characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We know Thor's from Asgard, but we don't know what his life was like when he was being raised, except for that one scene in Thor where his father was like, and that's how we got this giant ice box, is because we fought frost giants, and that's it.
Wasn't that cool? If only I had time to tell you that story.
No, I mean it's not. It's I mean in Captain America, the whole backstory of Captain America as a kid is given to you in the comics in Captain America: First Vengeance. There's no focus on them as people outside of them fighting stuff. And that, I think, is really what made Matt Murdock cool. I think that's one of the benefits of having a Netflix series, is you can spend so much time expanding on the character more so than you can on in a simple just film. Even if it's a film based on one character, that's still just kind of the way it goes. But yeah, they do a lot of focusing on him, and especially, and I think Foggy Nelson was a great character. I think his role in the series leading up to the end, he was a great sidekick for, or not really sidekick, but a great, close friend for Matt Murdock. So.
Can't
Sal,
wait.
that leaves you, buddy.
I really. Oh, you mean
Yeah.
with
you're the
respect to
you're
the
the last man
supporting
standing.
characters? Everyone's great. Everyone's doing a great job. Foggy's great. The relationship between him and Matt is gut wrenchingly good. Especially the further down you go. Rosario Dawson does a really nice job. I got to give mad props to her. Clearly,
Yeah, she does.
there's a point in the series where the money runs out, and Rosario Dawson is alluded to as opposed to appearing in the show. And what was the other thing? I can't wait for Ben Urich to leave the Bulletin for the Bugle in season 2. I'm sure that
That
they
is
haven't
the same
said that.
guy, right?
I mean, like, Ben Urich is, by the way, that's another person we have to talk about. Ben Urich is great. The guy who plays him is terrific. Nobody.
He's from the Spider-Man supporting cast, though.
Yeah,
right?
well, he's
okay.
he's
I
a
thought it
Spider-Man
was
Daredevil
him.
character. He is as much a Spider-Man character as Kingpin is. So it's like they're both very hand in hand.
Okay.
And Urich is a great character. The guy who plays him, whose name escapes me at the moment, is really, really good. I love I actually really like the race swap for him. I've read a bunch of reviews of the show. None of them have mentioned them, which means either nobody cares or or Ben Urich is so obscure that nobody knows.
I mean,
Either way, works for me. Love what they're doing with him.
I mean, Ben Urich is relatively obscure. I mean, Ben Urich became super popular, one, because he knew Daredevil's identity in the comics and then chose not to reveal it.
Right.
And then also because he drew the bad attention of Kingpin when he did an expose in the comics.
Yeah.
And then he drew the bad attention of Norman Osborn when he did an expose on Norman Osborn, which is the reason why Osborn targets him during Civil War. That's why you have to read the tie-in.
You don't need to read
to
that. You can just read the
understand.
Pulse, and you don't need the Civil War bullshit.
Tie-ins don't matter.
But you know what's great? The woman who plays Vanessa is also fabulous.
Oh God, yes.
She's so good, and you get it. Like, you get his relationship with her. And it's nice that she's not, when she's revealed or introduced, she's not relegated to, like, a plot device, which is what she is in the comics most of the time.
Oh yeah, definitely. She's like,
That's really
you,
cool. Everyone-
you have to choose between me or your life of crime, and Kingpin's like, all right, fine.
No,
Like,
you
Spider-Man,
get Vanessa.
can go.
Like, within the first few minutes of meeting her, you get it. Like, and you get the relationship, and you get what kind of person she is. And that's the case with everyone. I think the fact is, like, they don't introduce a character extraneously or for no reason. Like, everyone supports the story and is also a rich, developed character in their own right. And so it works really well. Like, the show is just a well produced show. Like,
Yeah.
Very. Well, I
Okay.
said it last time that I was on, I think, podcast with you guys where you guys were asking about Flash and Arrow, which I love. Flash is actually one of probably my, well, now that this is out, I don't know. But
Flash is still my favorite. I just love how
Yeah,
Flash
Flash
dives
is-
into
yeah,
the
it's
powers.
awesome. But I wish that all these shows were done in the same, same production value as
Yeah.
Daredevil, or like the Game of Thrones, not a comic book show, but stuff like shows that are high quality. So like Game of Thrones, House of Cards, stuff like that, where it's just like, this looks like a movie. You know what I mean? This could be in the theaters because a TV show looks like a TV show,
Right.
But where Daredevil and all these other,
no,
shit
it's
to
The Wire,
Netflix or
but like a show.
Yeah.
It's The Wire with superheroes in it. Like, it's amazing.
yeah,
Oh God,
right.
The Wire with superheroes. That's probably the best analogy for it. It's like the greatest show of all time. Like it's the best show.
It's
ever.
not. I mean, it's it's obviously not as good as The
But
Wire,
as
but like,
amazing, amazing as the Flash TV show is, can you imagine how much better it would be with the production value of the Daredevil series?
yes,
Oh,
I wouldn't
that
go
would
with
be-
that tone.
You don't even
but
have to make
obviously
it
the production
dark.
value would be amazing.
Oh
Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't have to
dark,
make it
dark.
dark, just
Yeah.
improve the production value. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. I
but
completely agree with that.
something, yeah.
Leave it bright.
Make that-
'cause it's
Make that costume so much better.
I just don't like the
Spider-Man.
helmet on the Flash costume. Like, I
I
think
hate-
the rest of it's fine. The helmet just looks awkward.
It's
That
like-
material. No one is going to be the fastest man alive in that material. They're just going to be super chafed.
God, yeah, I'd hate to imagine. Okay,
The most
But,
changed man alive.
all right. So here's my question for Eric. So in the series so far, where are you at with Vanessa, with the girlfriend, I guess, of Kingpin?
Should I say? I don't want to spoil.
Yeah, no, that might be a little
no,
hard
no,
for
I
us
mean,
to go
it's-
into.
You know what? No, we can't. We can't. We'll give it away.
Let's wrap up the Daredevil discussion
Yes.
right now because we can't talk too much further into it this week because obviously it just came out on Friday. Not even all of us have been able to watch all of it, only Rob. So I think as we're at the halfway point, I think it's a good time to bring up Convergence. Let's go ahead and move over to our next big topic. We do have a whole bunch of books here, and I think we should open this discussion with Eris. What was your favorite Convergence pick for the first week?
Well, the two that stick out to me, it's either going to be Superman or Nightwing and Oracle. Those are my two favorites.
those both were really good.
Yeah, Superman felt to me like it was very much like, which was what it was supposed to be, pre-New 52 Superman, where I was like, this feels like old Superman, which is funny because I was reading it and like, I was like, I forgot how much I like pre-New 52 Superman, I was like, maybe I do want this Superman back.
I do find that funny, though, because I agree with you 100%. Like, I actually really like the story arcs that the new Superman has been going through. But as soon as I picked it up and I started reading Convergence, like, all of those old feelings of Superman.
Yes.
And I'm like, I miss him. He's so great. But the only thing that I remember is I never bought the old Superman books.
Yeah.
Like, I loved him as a supporting character in the universe because he's just so goddamn powerful. You were like, and he's so like, everything has to be discussed out. I'm super strong. I will just end this.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I really like in the Superman book, you see Captain Thunder, the Shazam from the Flashpoint world.
Yeah.
So in their little fight was awesome, and the whole spoilers, everyone, if whoever hasn't read it, it's actually on the cover. It's not even a spoiler. Lois Lane is pregnant in it because
It's on
in
the
the
cover.
Convergence, in the Convergence world, like I think, most people know, or Superman's fans will know, Superman wasn't able to get her pregnant in there because he's a Kryptonian, so the DNA wouldn't match. But now that they're depowered under this dome in the Convergence world, he was able to, which I thought was really awesome.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see, like, and if in the second issue, because it's only a 2-part series, if if the baby's born, or if they'll allude to it being a superpowered baby, which could be cool.
Yes.
Well,
So-
I'm just really hoping that this goes in the direction that we're all thinking. Like, if Convergence Superman sells well, we're going to have a pre-New 52 Superman story arc continuing.
Yeah.
Because that would be
Right.
kind of fun to see it back.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing with Convergence, it's like, it's really, it's not done yet, but it's really weird because, Dan DiDio is saying, continuity won't matter anymore. But
Right.
basically saying they're just going to tell stories. And, well, to me, how I look at it is like, because they're saying they're keeping the 25 New 52 books, right? But they're taking New 52 off of it.
Right.
But those will be in continuity because those are the best-selling books. So, they're keeping Batman, Flash, Justice League. So that'll be, you'll still, Endgame will still be work with Batman, all the Flash stuff will still go over. But then with the other 24 books, it's like, oh, well, let's just see what sells. So I feel like the Convergence is a testing ground. Everyone's, they're really loving the Superman book, like, you just said. So they'll give us pre-new 52 Superman, or just pick and choose. It's like their way to experiment. So, but
yeah.
I don't know. That's my theory. I mean, it could be a little different. So I'm really curious to see how it's going to go, because we're only 2 issues in if you want to count the 0 issue with Convergence.
Yeah.
So tomorrow's the second one, I guess, or third.
We
Really?
don't count 0 issues. It's the
Yeah.
second one. Nothing happens in 0.
Yeah, it's
So I'm just curious to see what worlds are going to live and what not, because that basically all it's saying is whatever worlds lives, that's the title you're going to get.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see what happens. But yeah, my favorite was probably Superman, and then just under that is Nightwing and Oracle, which is really cool. I'm a big everyone knows I'm a big Batman fan, but I'm also a big fan of Nightwing and Barbara Gordon's relationship.
Mhm.
And I kind of also, it reminded me again of, I think I still like Barbara Gordon more in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
I'm like, this just adds a really cool dynamic, and she's she's like the brains of the entire DC universe.
Yes.
And that
So-
ending panel.
Yes.
oh
Who
yeah.
else?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, Barbara Gordon, man. It's freaking. So, and it's Gail Simone, so
Yeah.
she did a great
Yeah.
job with the new 52.
Oh, and she was swinging for she was out for blood in that issue. Like, she's like, no, Barbara's back, and I'm not screwing around.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's almost like no one's watching. Like, that it really feels like everyone who
Let
wanted to go back, everyone who resisted New 52 was like,
Faust is going to explode.
yeah, oh, sorry.
And as much as it was like a Nightwing Oracle book, it felt more like Birds of Prey, like Gail Simone's run on Birds of Prey. It really reminded me of that. And I don't know, that's one of my favorite comics of all time.
Yeah.
Well, in the Oracle issue, I love how like she, you hear her thoughts in little like green bubbles. She's like narrating the whole thing, and
Mhm.
just in it, you see like her conflict in it. There's this thing with Mr. Freeze, how people are becoming complacent with the world, or they just don't care anymore. So just her whole arc and like what she was trying to convey, it was really cool. Like, it was a really emotional book where you're like, oh wow. So it made you think like, what would happen if you were really in a world like that? Would you start becoming like, well, nothing matters anymore. Why do I need this? Why do I need that? We're stuck in a fishbowl essentially. So what's the point? And then like Foss said, the ending was just like, oh yeah, we're back. And we're back.
Now, here's a question that I have about Convergence, just really quick, because I've read a couple of the tie-ins, but they're calling them minis, and this is one of the few events ever where I'm like, wow, these tie-ins are great. Where's
I
Batman?
know, because Civil War, they're horrible, right? I mean,
Yes.
great
Batman?
tie-ins.
Where's pre-Flashpoint Batman?
I think he's in this
Flashpoint
Marvel's
Batman we
book,
have
isn't he?
is that's Batman and
Is that
And-
Batman and Son?
yeah, that's,
Well,
that's
and-
Batman and Damian, but
Batman.
yeah, that's Batman and Damian. As far
No,
as I
and
know.
this is actually my complaint with the entire Convergence event. They're basically like, oh, we have all these different worlds from different things, but they're not specifying who's from what. And the biggest confusion you get out of that is the 3 Batman books. Because which one of those is pre-Flashpoint, which one of those is pre-New 52, you know?
Well,
because
they're
they're all not in the same
that.
book.
Like they're all pre-Flashpoint because they all bled into each other. That's like saying that it was like saying pre-Flashpoint was a universe in and of itself because the way that they tried to make New 52 more palatable for most of us was that no, it's not a separate universe. Everyone was folded into the New 52. Everyone was made into that. Like it's the same Batman from pre-Flashpoint and New 52, but it's not.
Well, but my big question, though, is every one of the Gotham cities is a different Gotham city.
Right,
And we have
from-
3 different Bat families.
Yeah, and they're not necessarily from different universes as much as they're from different time periods in the same chronology. Like there's Nightfall Batman. Nightfall still happened pre-Flashpoint.
Well, no, but like, okay, but here's a really good question. Like Superman #1, since all the cities that we've seen so far as part of the tie-ins for Convergence all take place in Gotham. Every last one of them
Right.
do. They all take place in Gotham.
Even Superman's in Gotham.
Even Superman
I
in Gotham.
know.
We've got Superman #1. All right, we've got Superman like what Harken alas, what's going on here? And the Flashpoint group is like, it's curtains for you, old man. Like, where's Batman in that?
Yeah.
What's
It's
Batman
like-
doing while all this is happening? Like, is Batman just sitting in his cave watching it all go down? Like, I'll just wait and watch.
Right,
And then
because,
maybe
like-
I can do something.
That
And, like-
Superman book is
He's making his new suit, that blue rabbit suit, as everyone's calling it.
yeah,
I guess. I mean, I don't. I
that
don't
chappy.
Know,
So
but I will say this, like as someone that, because back when you guys were reading this stuff, like when you guys were reading this stuff when it was initially happening, and that was my EC.
is it you okay there?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. But when I was reading that, like when all this stuff was initially happening, like you guys were reading that, I was off reading Marvel. So for me, like a lot of this stuff is brand new. Like I'm looking at pre-Crisis, or I guess pre-Flashpoint Superman, and for me, like that's like wow. And here's the funny thing. I finally understand what people are talking about when they say pre-Flashpoint Superman was better, because there is this point, like there's a single scene, like the single panel in Superman #1 when he's going against I guess the Flashpoint version of Shazam. All right, and he grabs him and says I guess you are less than nothing, and like pounds him into the ground, and it just looks epic as hell.
You know
And
what?
then-
That book had me with that first scene when he's patrolling Gotham as nobody, and the flamethrower dude douses him in flame, and then Superman is reborn from fire.
Yeah, like right when
And he
thumbs
just says,
down, he sprays him with
I'm
fire.
fine. And you're like, yes, you are. Like, you're back. Finally, ditch the stupid battle armor. You're not tortured and miserable. You're Superman.
Well, I'm glad, because like one thing that I disliked about the Harley Quinn book is that we spent the entire book reestablishing who Harley Quinn really is.
Like anybody cares or
right. But the Superman book spent like the first 2 pages, and they're like, Superman.
Because
let's
you
go back.
know. Because I think that the most vocal complaints have been about DC's portrayal of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, here. It could also be Jurgens' way of answering that question. Because Jurgens is like, I don't know, I've never actually read any interviews with him talking about the New 52, but like, he clearly has a fondness for the pre-Flashpoint universe.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, yeah,
that
I mean,
could just
you can look
be
at the story and see that. Like you can just see like the way I mean, every time you see Superman, like once his powers come back, every time you see him, he's like Superman.
yeah. By the
Like,
way,
that's pretty much all the depictions of him.
a note about that issue in particular, I love that they had Dan Jurgens, who has drawn Superman for 20 years and has drawn some of the most iconic images of Superman. He writes it. They got Lee Weeks to draw it, to kind of combine this like modern book with like an old school, if you can even say that, like Superman creator, to kind of, I don't want to say elevate it, just kind of propels it to this like so that it holds up under modern scrutiny. I just feel like Lee Weeks' art like owns in that book and manages to capture the essence of Superman pre-Flashpoint while also telling a story that you can with today's sensibilities, with with a modern eye for art. I don't know. I really like that blend. I was like, this is what it should be. Like that was kind of my opinion. It was like, this is what it should be.
Yeah, man.
This is
I mean,
what it should be all the time.
It was a beautiful, like, I mean, going through that, it was a beautifully done comic. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like, and like to me, that's what really got, like, that's why when I read, like, when I went through all those tie-ins, I said, okay, Superman #1 is right at the top of my list of my favorite comics because it was beautiful the way it was done. I mean, you had the really cool action sequences, you had the relationship between him and Lois Lane where she was like, what in the world's going on, and then you have like the emaciated Superman from the Flashpoint universe that shows up, and he was like, you're coming with me because you're Lois Lane and reasons.
Reasons.
Yeah. And Lois Lane, like, she screams for Clark, and Clark's just like totally, being set upon by the Flashpoint group. Like that right there, I think was really cool because that's something that I've never really gotten from New 52 Superman. I've never sat down and read a New 52 Superman. Maybe it's because he seems lifeless. Maybe it's because he doesn't have the same history as the pre-Flashpoint Superman. But I sit down and I read this story about pre-Flashpoint Superman, and he's drawn and he's written like a guy that's seen some things. Like he's seen stuff happen.
I've seen
And,
some
like,
crap.
Yeah, and like
I've seen things.
New
been
52
shit.
Superman looks like he looks like you would expect like a teenage kid. Like, I just got all these superpowers and now I'm just gonna go save the world and I don't care anything about him. I can't relate to him. And it doesn't matter to me. But there's just something about this pre-Flashpoint Superman that's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
Right.
So let me ask you guys this then, because we talked a lot about the pre-50 point Superman. I think across the board we've all enjoyed it. But I want to ask, because you're a fan of Flash, I know a lot of us enjoy the show. I know Faust hates the costume. How do you guys feel about the Wally West thing, where another guy conveniently happened to be in Gotham at the time of the dome going down, but this time with his kids, and he ends up. Wally West, I mean, basically runs around, meets up with the Captain Carrot crew, and they end up fighting against an entire, like, evil version of everything. And I'm like, what is going to happen to Wally? I mean, how do you guys feel about that one?
Well, I actually haven't read that issue yet.
That
Oh,
one
you gotta
was
read-
actually- That one was pretty interesting. It was Fastback from the Zoo Crew that Wally
Yeah.
West ended up partnering up with, and then now apparently it's Fastback and Wally West with his kids Jay and Iris, or Jai. I don't know how to pronounce his son's name, Jai and Iris, going against the Flashpoint Wonder Woman. And I got to the end of this comic, and the first thing I thought of was like a Tekken video game. Or like Street Fighter, and it's like Wally West versus Wonder Woman. That's exactly how it felt reading this. Again, like, coming from somebody that never really followed the pre-Flashpoint DC, I don't really see what's so special about Wally West that makes him so amazing. Like oh my God, Wally West. I'm like, hey, cool, Wally West.
I just
what
think,
I mean?
See, I'm the complete opposite. I grew up with Wally West being the Flash,
Yeah.
and I have a really hard time giving two shits about Barry Allen.
Yeah, I don't get the Jeff Johns love fest for Barry Allen.
I think that the whole problem is nostalgia. Jeff Johns in like our era.
He's
Sal,
older than
I'm
us,
assuming
so-
you're in the same kind of boat as us, Eris, where it's like Barry Allen was our Flash.
Yeah,
Wally
Barry Allen's
West
my-
was
yeah.
where Wally West is the next generation of Flash. That's the one they all grew up with.
Yeah.
We all grew up on Barry Allen Flash, so we're all like Barry Allen, yes, and everyone else is like, who the fuck cares about Barry Allen?
Yeah.
I mean, Wally
Also, he
West.
created the Speed Force, so there's that.
Yeah, ours
There would be
created
no
the
Wally
entire
West.
thing, Faust.
Yeah.
So you can have your little Wally.
Yeah, well, like, my favorite Flash was Bart Allen. And remember when he absorbed the Speed Force into himself, and he was the first one to do that, and then was the only fastest man alive?
Don't you remember that when he died because no one liked him?
I
You
like
say the same thing about Barry.
Yeah, I mean, I liked
Barry sacrificed himself. Bart was beat to hell by the rogues. That's like
Alright.
because he had to sacrifice himself to stop a bomb going off.
no excuses.
See, like the Flash is like, or not the Flash. The chat is I don't know. It's the Flash. The chat pretty much is split. Like, I mean, there's people in the chat who are like, oh, Barry Allen, yeah, all day long, and there are some people who are like, nope, Barry Allen sucks. Wally West is the best, and it's funny to me that
It won't
there's
matter.
like that divide.
No.
I mean,
Well-
in the end, I think it'll be a cool story, but I just have a hard time looking at it. I mean, I love the story. Like, I love the story element. Like, I like what's going on. I like that he gave us this really short tour de France of, the whole, Battle World or not Battle World of the Terrorist World, whatever it is.
Are you sure you didn't mean Battle World?
Yeah,
Because it
Battle
really
World.
feels like Battle
I
World.
mean, really, well,
Well, you know what the problem, the what I like to call the Flash conundrum of everyone being divided as to which Flash is their favorite is Batman has always been Bruce Wayne. We didn't have like Bruce Wayne in the '90s, and then in the entire 2000s we had Dick Grayson.
Yeah, well, no one can say that they liked Jean Paul Valley more than they liked Bruce Wayne.
I did. That's a
No, you didn't.
But the same thing as Superman. We've always had Clark Kent. We'll have different versions of Clark Kent, but it's always been Clark.
Right.
But with the Flash, it seems like we get a new one every 6 years or so. They wrote that out as the main Flash, you know? I mean, it is. What? We had Barry, then we went to Wally, then we went to Bart, then we went back to Barry, then we went to Wally. Then
Yeah.
Yeah, no
So what you're saying-
Eric, so.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is Iris West 2020?
Yeah, probably. Here's the thing: is Jeff Johns still pretty much in charge of everything over at DC?
Well, he's chief creative officer.
Yeah, no,
Then you're not getting Wally West.
Well, no,
I mean, like,
I think because of that Wally West is now once again a kid. Like they're just like, oh, we're completely reinventing him. He's biracial and he's a kid again, and
Right.
his
Unless
costume
we're in
is
Speed
silver.
Force.
We're just gonna make it silver for no reason.
Yeah. But yeah. But otherwise,
I think a big reason for Wally West is because of the Justice League cartoon, which
Yeah.
is also, so everyone, he's funny, which I love. He's my second favorite Flash, so I'm not trying to knock him. It's just my favorite Terry because that's what I grew up with.
But no, and I agree, and that's the exact same reason why a lot of people like for us, Hal Jordan's the better Green Lantern. But I know a lot of people that are like, why is the Green Lantern white? Like, what about John Stewart, the guy that I grew up with?
now that was a thing that, like, just as a quick aside, John Stewart is a missed opportunity for DC across the board. You could have built, like, you have an entire generation of new DC fans who were brought in from the cartoon whose version of Green Lantern is John Stewart. And if you're looking for, because clearly when they created the New 52 and they created their roster of Justice Leaguers, they I was going to say promoted Cyborg, who I don't think anyone is really a big fan of.
Well, no, the problem with Cyborg is the poor guy is like, Cyborg's now in the Justice League. Hey, watch the cameras.
Yeah.
We're gonna go fight the bad
He's
guy.
Bumblebee from the Transformers. He can stay and guard the base.
And the worst
He's
part
getting his
is,
own book now.
and the worst part
yeah,
is,
he does, but who?
people know me for loving the Titans. I'm a huge Titans fan. Like, that's what I'm known for. Even in the Titans, I don't care about Cyborg.
Because he watches the Titan Tower.
Yeah,
Right.
like nobody cares about Cyborg. Like I don't. Cyborg doesn't even care about Cyborg.
No,
like,
you know what? Like, but like in that, like, I know Faz is gonna freak out, but I really liked that old Teen Titans cartoon, the fake anime one.
I didn't mind that. I didn't mind it.
Yeah, but I really liked that Cyborg. That's like one of the few Cyborgs I actually was like, oh, okay, I get him now.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
now
like that one too. That's my favorite Cyborg. If you got to pick
Yeah.
one.
But my point being, like, you
also like that
don't
Starfire
need
the
to
most,
get
but-
rid of Hal because John is already a Green Lantern. You just have Hal do other things, as clearly he is wont to do based on your Sinestro Wars and your Red Lanterns and all your Roy G. Biv communities.
Roy
So
G.
just-
Biv.
The thing that
So
blew my
make
mind
John
is
a Justice Leaguer.
No, well, what blew my mind is what during the whole entire Jeff Johns Hal Jordan run, Hal Jordan was off planet doing all this other crap.
Right.
He even left the Justice League, and instead of just giving us John Stewart or even Guy Gardner as the Earth Green
Right.
Lantern, they're like, "No, we're gonna make Simon Baz," and then forget he even exists
Like,
like a year
who?
later.
You're gonna have a
Why?
really cool tattoo that glows, though.
Right on.
Well, it's funny because like I did my entire Green Lantern run, and I keep getting questions now of like, "Will you do the origin of Simon Baz?" I'm like, honestly, probably not, because he just seems to have disappeared. No one even knows who the hell he is anymore. No
So-
one even acknowledges.
So
He's just
Justice
gone.
League of America. The last I read, because I haven't kept up with his stuff or seen him in anything, but last I remember, he was in Justice League United or America, where Green Arrow's trying to like have them team up, and he's like, "Nah, I'm busy doing Green Lantern things."
So, quick question. What did you guys think of Convergence Titans?
That was actually my next issue we were going to talk about. For me, I actually liked Titans because it picked up where we left off with Arsenal and like everything. I felt a little weirded out with Arsenal having kids and like, I've given up. My arm is in storage. And
It
thought
was
it
my
was
favorite
interesting.
issue.
Nice.
It was my favorite.
I don't know. Like, I thought it was going to be like the Teen Titans.
No,
in
that's
this
another
story.
book, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
also
yeah,
called
I-
Convergence.
but Titans
know
even
that, but-
acknowledges that. They open by being like, yeah, these are the guys you know, not about them.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not.
I get that. I mean, it focuses on Starfire, it focuses on Arsenal, and it focuses on whatever that last chick's name is, the third one. I can't remember.
Donna
what her name is.
Troy.
Donna Troy. Yeah, it focuses on her. Whoever she is.
Whoever that unimportant character in
Whoever that unimportant
the
character
history of the
You-
Titans is.
You really haven't read much DC,
No.
have you?
No, I told you. Like, okay, Faust. Since you're relatively new here, here's the deal. I started out as a Marvel guy. Like, Marvel is my bread and butter. That's where I make my bones. All right, DC is all relatively new. I started DC in New 52, to be honest.
She's in the Titans X-Men crossover.
I didn't read that. Why would I read it? Why would I read a Teen Titans X-Men? I know it exists.
Just get introduced in Wonder Woman.
No, okay.
Because it's the greatest intercompany crossover of all
Oh,
time.
you're so full of hoo-ha news. It's like saying, Rob, you should read like the Avengers and Ultra Force crossover because
No, it is not like
that's
that.
exactly what you're saying.
No,
That's exactly
it
what you're
would be
saying.
like me saying you should read the Avengers JLA crossover. Ultra Force.
There is.
Don't say Ultra Force. Mention them. They might come back if you say their name 3 times.
No, that they.
Donna
no.
Troy. Well, Donna Troy wasn't just a member of the Titans. She was at one point Wonder Woman's clone, and then she was her sister, and then she was her clone again,
Okay,
and then
cool story, bro. Like,
she was important for Wonder Woman too.
In the Finch's run for Wonder Woman, Donna Troy has officially been brought back, and she is the clone, and she's trying to take over as the Queen of the Amazons. She has been brought back in the Finch run for
But no one cares because it's really bad.
I'm telling you, am I the only person like Brian Azzarello was a great run. The Finch's run is not as good, but it's not bad. I'm enjoying it.
Well, it's kind of like Tony S. Daniels' Deathstroke, where it looks fantastic, but
Tony S.
that's it.
Yeah, he is so good, but no. By the way, just a quick plug for the weeklypull.net. If you go there, you'll be able to read our coverage of Titans #1, written by Jason Evans.
So what I liked about Titans #1.
Lovely, I like that plug.
So what I liked about Titans #1, because I didn't actually get to say anything because I was too shocked by
Yes,
Rob.
you were so flabbergasted.
I loved it because it focused on the characters' emotions and their interactions with one another, and then it had action elements towards the end. At least 4/5 of this book was all about emotions and setting up their mental state, which is what the Titans is about. It's a drama with action elements, and these characters just happen to be in this superhero world. And that was the point of the Titans, and the New 52 totally missed that in like both Teen Titans runs. It doesn't get the point of the
In both
book.
relaunches.
I didn't get the first Teen Titans run, but the latest one is all about like social media, and I'm like, I don't care, whatever.
It's the crap version of what Batgirl's doing.
Yeah.
So I loved the Titans, and with Marv Wolfman on the new Teen Titans book, it's probably going to be similar with it focusing on the drama and the emotional states.
No question.
Well, I think with the Titans book, it was interesting to look at Arsenal from a non-superhero, just trying to live a day-to-day life perspective. Like all that's gone now. Like, I'm just kind of a guy that's just trying to do the right thing and make sure like these kids in this orphanage that I've opened up are taken care of. And that's kind of a cool thing, I think. But I think that when it comes to stories, that I think it's more important to focus on the characters, the drive of the characters, the basis behind the characters, than to just jump in and say, "Oh my God, now we're fighting," and then just
Right,
kinda
or
let
like
the
this
story
is,
go from
or
there.
this is the craziest, biggest, baddest thing that'll ever happen.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, ever. Like in the history of anything that's ever happened, this is the craziest ever. Like it's
Yeah.
just, like I don't really dig that too much. I like good character development, and I think that with Arsenal, looking at his character from just a personal perspective, and then at the end of the story, he's like, okay, look, I guess I've got to go back to being Arsenal again. And he busts out his arm, he busts out his arrow, busts out his gear, and says, okay, let's just go try to rescue, Starfire and Donna Troy from the extremists. But let's rescue them.
Okay, well let's move on to the 3 books that is on nobody's top list pick. Adam, Question, and the Justice League book.
right.
Dude, I didn't even read the Justice League
Yeah,
book. I
okay.
read Adam.
I was gonna say I didn't even read those.
Yeah,
I was
Adam
saying, well,
was like confusing, and the question I didn't read either.
I read
But
the
it's from
question.
Inem Montias. That's cool.
I read the question,
Okay,
and I was
well,
excited.
since you're the
for it
only
to-
one who did, what do you think of the question?
I was excited for it to be Renee Montoya. Will there ever be a day where Renee Montoya's mythos is no longer linked to Batwoman?
No. No.
Shattered his world.
Look, because I like the idea of the fact, like, she's a lesbian in comics. Great. She doesn't always need to be linked to the other lesbian in comics.
But they were going to be married.
Yeah, that's why. Like, they were actually really closely linked. That's why.
Yeah, they were really closely linked, but life goes on.
Right, but then we'd have to create another gay character, Faust. We'd have to create another gay character, and it's really hard to do that.
Look, I know
Faust,
there's only like...
you only get like 5 prominent gay characters. Stop wanting more.
Well, and, and like, what do we do? Okay, so, all right, fine. Okay, she can date Catwoman, okay, because she's bi. How about that?
I know there's only like 5 gay people in the real world, but in comics we can have more.
No, I'm being an executive at DC. I'm telling you, this is how it would go. Like,
Would you calm down? They gave you the Earth 2 Green Lantern that no one's ever heard of
Right.
4 years ago. Take that and be happy.
joy.
And then they
And you
gave
have
us...
North Star over at Marvel.
And then, look, I will not rest until we have a drag queen superhero.
I really doubt that's going to happen.
Joker's like almost.
I really want to see that happen. I want to see a story. All right, I want the story to open up like Tu Wong Fu. All right, I want to
it's
see
just-
like this character getting dressed, putting on their nylon stockings, and like putting on their lipstick. Like there's just a panel where like they're putting on lipstick, and then like you see like a wig being put onto a head, and then like the next page is like a full body panel, and they're just like standing in style.
Yeah.
Like I really
I
want to see
actually
that.
just did a comic of Deadpool drag queening as Jean Grey. That's going to go in the channel next week.
Hold on, Deadpool drag queen as Jean.
Sign me up.
Funny side note, the video goes up next week, but I found a comic where Wolverine couldn't fight an enemy, so he needed Deadpool to distract him, and the enemy was looking for Jean Grey. It was a robot, so he got Deadpool to drag queen as Jean Grey.
You're
Like,
so
it's a
full
little-
of crap.
So
No,
the
he
whole
didn't.
time, Deadpool's like, "What do you think empowers me? Is it my bazongas?" Stuff like that.
Wow.
But side note on that, I forgot to warn you, Eris, since you come on like once a month pretty much. Ever since we brought Faust on, conversations get weird at times. Just
It's not my fault though.
Yes,
If
it
you go
is.
back
It is
and
the
watch,
Faust
it's
effect.
someone else
it's
that
called the
watches it.
Faust effect. It happens.
We don't know
It's
why it
someone
happens,
else.
but it does.
It's someone else that starts it every time. It's named after me, but I've never started it.
They just blame it on you.
You're the new guy. It has to go somewhere. It's not going to be the
Has to go
Eris effect.
It can be though.
All right. So anyway, yeah. I mean, so overall with the question, I mean, I did read the Atom. Personally, I felt like the Atom was pointless, and I think that they just did that as a shoehorn because the Atom's an Arrow. He's got to have a comic. We
Because
haven't
another
given him one in like
$4.
10
That's
years.
$4 more.
Well, that wasn't reason enough for me to buy it. I mean, it's
No,
but, like
but
the
that's-
character, like Adam hasn't been developed enough in Arrow for me to say, oh my god, I want to run out and buy an Adam comic. I mean, that's not. No.
Well,
it's not
it probably was just a test bed kind of thing. That's just 2 issues of the Atom. No one's going to ask for more. If they do, we can make it.
Nope.
Simple as that.
Yeah, no
Um,
one's
and then-
probably gonna ask for more.
And the Justice League comic, just for me, was like this is probably one of the worst time periods of the Justice League. Why are we bringing back all the C-listers on a comic? I don't care.
I mean, this.
Oh
This
boy,
has been-
is it Fire and Ice and Bloodwind and
It's those. It's like that brand of the team.
Oh,
Like no one you
God.
recognize.
yay.
This is.
So,
a
I
great
mean, overall-
time- Oh, go
So,
ahead.
well, I was going to ask Eris because we're kind of coming to where we got to start winding down. How do you feel about Convergence after the first week? We've all made our videos with our opinions. What is your opinions?
I don't have a final opinion thus far. I mean, as of now, I'm just still kind of curious because I haven't really done much. I mean, we're only tomorrow we'll get issue 2, but it seems like we said earlier, like it's just everything's either taking place in Gotham and having the Flashpoint world. It seems like that's so. It's like that's the only 2 things they're really focusing on.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it could be really cool. As of now, I'm kind of I like the idea that, it's kind of like a battle royale, like a Hunger Games of comic books.
Mhm.
I like the idea. I'm just curious to see where they're going to take it because it's way too early to tell. So
Yeah.
what this is going to mean for the future of DC is what I'm more worried about, I mean, I guess, I'm still going to have, my Batman book and stuff like that staying, but I'm very curious to see, as far as this whole continuity thing, like where that's going to go and what does that mean as like, are they going to just do, because even some of the books they launched that are official, some of them are only getting like 8 issues after this. So it's like, okay, so does that mean you're just going to do like limited runs for certain titles and always keep interchanging to make everyone happy?
Good idea.
So people could jump out, so it's like, oh yeah, this is only going to be 8 issues. It's going to be, a graphic novel, so you can just jump on that. So I'm curious to see because this is basically a story that's written around a new business model. Is what it seems. So
Like- like what I've been telling everyone that follows me is you just need to remember nothing is permanent in comics. This will last
Very
for like
true.
5 years maximum, and then we'll go
And then
back
we'll have
to
another giant
continuity. Yeah.
Well, that's another. Yeah, everyone's always like when someone dies in comic books, going back to that, like, well, what do you think? I'll think he'll be back in a year.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the Wolverine thing. Like, okay, you know what? A great example for that, real quick. I don't want to go too much into it because it is spoilers and probably some people haven't read it yet. But the death of Deadpool,
Yeah.
they hyped that up for the last 6 months, and he literally ended. And it wasn't actually. It was a great ending for him, but it wasn't spectacular. And it perfectly leaves the door open for him to come back. Like, there was no closure to, not like when Wolverine died, where they're like, okay, we've injured him, he can't heal, we're putting him in an adamantium shell,
He went through the gauntlet.
we are not letting him come back.
Yeah.
I mean,
But it's
it does because the death of Deadpool. Have you guys read the death of Deadpool? Has everybody read it?
I know what happens. I didn't read it.
I don't
Yeah,
read
I
I'm
that.
have
with you. I know what happens
$10.
Okay, yeah. So the death of Deadpool ends with the Earth 616 Ultimate Universe incursion. Like that's what that's what kills Deadpool. But the genius about that ending is that's what kills everybody else too. So
Yeah.
if anybody else can come back, then that means Deadpool can come back. So like that's it's not like a unique death. I mean, like you guys are saying, it's not like it was with Wolverine where he's just encased in adamantium and he's just kind of stuck. And he's just dead, and that's it. His healing factor's gone. Presumably, he just dies really fast or something like that inside this case of adamantium, whatever. But Deadpool, he died the same way as everybody else. So if Reed Richards from 616 comes back in this new battle world, and it's just this, reality portion of 616 next to the Ultimate Universe, and Reed Richards is standing there, that means Deadpool can come back in the exact same vein. They can just explain it however they want.
Oh, yeah.
In the way that would make
The
it make
greatest
sense.
line ever.
It's
The
whatever.
greatest line ever in the whole thing, and it's not even a spoiler, is once Deadpool, like, the story's really good. It does close out the run. There's a few loose ends, but the funny thing about it is, as he realizes the incursion's happening, he's like, wait, the incursion thing was real? I thought that was just some adventure hoopla. No one figured this out?
That was the funny thing. Like they didn't solve this. But oh god, I will say this before we kind of finish up and wrap everything up. In the death of Deadpool, when he was on the farm, and he sent those corpses to Flag Smasher, to Ultimatum, and it was coordinates to where his location was, and they showed up. That following action sequences was like one of the most spectacular displays in like ass kicking that I've ever seen in the history of Deadpool's run. Like he literally laid waste to an entire army of people single handedly, killed them all, like every last one of them.
Okay, for those of you who didn't read it, the basic, it isn't much of a spoiler, really. I mean, it's what happens. But the whole thing is basically just Deadpool just killing an entire army.
Yeah.
And he even says, like, I'm going out in a spectacular fashion.
Yeah.
And the whole point of it is basically, because if you've been reading the run, Deadpool's been basically deciding, like, how does he handle the family, the daughter, the friends, having a real life as opposed to being the merc with the mouth. And his decision is he will kill Deadpool so he can be Wade Wilson. That's the whole point of the book.
Yeah.
Right.
So he can move on and be, and then of course the incursion happens, so we're gonna get Merc with the mouth back.
Right.
But- Congratulations, Deadpool! You got a life finally. Oh no, now you gotta be.
Sorry. You can never escape it.
Yep. But it was.
I personally think that the whole reason they're even doing that is because they're gonna bring back Merc with the mouth Deadpool and not sad clown Deadpool.
Yeah.
We're gonna get like old school, jokey, nothing makes any goddamn sense Deadpool.
Yeah, man, I want that Christopher
Right around the
Priest
time
Deadpool
of his movie's release.
Yeah, wow. Where does that?
back. How coincidental.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, okay, guys. So, I mean, we're coming up to our time limit here that we typically have. I think we've done a great discussion with Convergence. We've done a great discussion with Daredevil here, and I want to say thank you to everyone who has joined us today. I think it's time for us to do our closing remarks for everybody here, and what we're all coming through with the rest of the I can't talk. So we're doing that. So, Sal, what do you got coming up this week?
This week we just released a new show which we call Comic Line, where it's like everyone at the table read the same book, one story arc, and then we just kind of get into some of the themes and ideas. This week we did Rage of Ultron, talked about like the humanity of Hank Pym and Ultron, and really just dug into that graphic novel. Talked for about an hour. It's a really fun show. I don't know if it's going to come back, but we'll see. It's kind of popular, so maybe. And back issue is going to have Daredevil in it.
I see. I actually liked Comic Line. I watched it, but I loved the confusion by some of your fan base, and I love
yeah.
the comments was, so this is back issues with suits.
Well, but everybody read the book. The idea with back issues is I read the book, I grew up with it, and then I explain it to people who don't normally read comics. And this one, everyone read the story, and we all just get into it. We don't actually go over the story. We go over like the themes and concepts that are raised in the
Wait,
story.
but the comments all seem to notice that you all wore jackets.
We did. We wanted to class it up a little bit. We wanted to bring the jackets in.
It looked like a news
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
That's something that I'm working on that. We'll see.
So
I
what's
thought it was
going on
cool.
over here at Comics Explained itself, Rob?
So tomorrow we're probably going to release a video about the Infinity Gems because for some reason I don't understand why you guys love cosmic level stuff. Like the Galactus video is like 100,000 views, and like all that, like the Living Tribunal, Eternity. Or not really
Probably
Eternity,
because
like
they
the Wonder
don't
of All.
freaking understand what's going on.
I guess like
We don't either.
They
Yeah.
love all that uber cosmic level.
I've
stuff.
noticed
So-
Eris never does cosmic level stuff. Is it just too much, or you just don't care?
I've done a few. Well, I've done a few. I did Darkseid versus what did I do? Darkseid versus Thanos. So I did. I don't know.
You don't
Yeah,
even
I did that. Yeah, yeah. That was a while ago.
So with
Well,
regards
I
to,
give brief origins in my versus episode, so I did that. I mean, Darkseid's one of my favorite DC villains, so it's only a matter of time before I do a history of Darkseid episode, which will get into all that.
Jeez.
so with regards to your reply yesterday, that tweet that I sent out was like Darkseid versus Galactus. You know that's the story, right? That's
Oh yeah, I
actually
just
a
want
crossover.
to be one of
Oh.
those heckling fans. I was,
Oh, okay.
I was like, and then Joel decided to jump in, so I'm like, yes, let's do this. Let the debate
Let
begin.
the debate begin, yeah.
Joel will jump in any debate that's going on Twitter. And the
Yeah.
funniest thing I found about Joel is you won't even tag him. And just if he thinks it's interesting, he's in. He's there. He's doing.
But,
Yeah, I was just like Darkseid all day long, just to be like, I don't know, whatever. And then he was like, well, Galactus eats worlds, and I'm like, let's do this debate.
it's actually funny the way it ends because the way the story ends, like Galactus is like there's like all this like crazy chaos and everything, and Galactus is like, it is done, my machine is finished, and like he's like, there's nothing here, and Darkseid's like, there's no life energy here, dude. Peace. Like that's pretty much how the
Deuces.
story ends.
Yeah.
He just ends up leaving, but no, I thought that was kind of funny. But after that, it'll probably be the death of Deadpool, and then we gotta get prepped. Like we gotta start on getting ready for Time Runs Out at the end of the month. So we got a bunch of stuff we need to do to build up to that. So
Totally.
What is effective on it's super effective. Oh, you see what I did there? See this?
Ba-da-da.
super effective.
I've been waiting to go to you. I've been thinking about that for the last 10 minutes.
You know,
I'm
I
like,
was gonna
this
make a joke about that. That you were like prepared. You didn't listen to a word Rob said. That you're like, oh, what am I gonna say? How am I gonna?
I got this. I heard what Rob said. Something about doing videos, but
Nice.
So I'm doing something completely new and doing a Teen Titans based video.
oh my god! Wow.
I've never done that, and then I thought I might twist things up even more and do a Young Avengers video.
Hey.
Oh my god!
And other than that, I'm just recapping Convergence.
Cool.
And what variation of our variants is happening at Variant Comics? Also, for the viewers who aren't aware, I don't know who would be unaware of Variant Comics, but if you want to fill them in on the overall theme of your channel, because you're our guest today, so
That's true.
Faust is just here every week now. So
I invited
just,
myself.
showed up. Okay, if you guys ever saw Half Baked, Faust is the guy on the couch. Faust just like showed up one day and then just never left.
Faust came on as a guest and just kept coming
And
back.
just kept coming back. Yep.
So what's-
Well,
If you and like
Yeah,
explain
my-
the channel a little, please.
all right, so my channel is Variant. So basically, I talk about all things comics. Where I do one of the videos that's popular the most is a history ofs, where I break down, I'll take 50 years of a character and break it down in 10 minutes. So I basically talk about all things comics. I do reviews of all the animated movies, of all the TV shows like Daredevil, Arrow, basically all things comics. If it's like comic book related, I talk about it. But yeah, this month we're doing Marvel Month, which we started for all of April. So we even got a new bumper for it and everything for the whole month of April, just to celebrate it leading up to Avengers. So this month we've already done. We kicked it off with a history of Avengers. We did history of Vision. Tomorrow's episode is actually going to be talking about Hulk versus Hulkbuster Iron Man, which is really cool. I know they fought in the comics, and everyone's like, oh, but this person won. But it's just cool to talk about, so I'll dive into that a little bit. We're going to round out the month with some Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, and Ultron talk, and then some one-shots here and there. This week's one-shot will probably be something about Spider-Gwen, because everyone likes Spider-Gwen, so that's what we're doing. And then going into May, we'll probably, toying around with probably doing something for Convergence for a few weeks, celebrating that, as that's going to end at May. And then going into June, we got all the new issues.
Yep.
So that's the pretty much the layout for Variant the next 2 months.
That sounds awesome. And also, for those of you guys who are in the live stream, don't forget to check the description where you'll find a link to Eris's channel. So, Yeah.
Yes.
So, all right, and on my channel, we're just doing, I don't even know, we were talking, I think we're doing a Batman and Superman video, we're doing a Scarlet Witch video, we're doing, I don't know, what am I doing?
I mean, I have
Rage
a
of
spreadsheet just
Ultron.
designed for
I
like, all
crossed
my
200K
videos.
and I was like, that's it, I'm done, we're quitting,
Done,
channel shut
done
down.
and done.
Oh, I forgot to mention I'm doing Game of Thrones recaps as well.
Are you-
Embracing
I'm not,
embracing what people know me as the off-brand comic book girl 19. I'm embracing it.
you got to change your hair color, but yeah.
No, I'm the off-brand, so I can't have pink.
No, it's got to be like the complement to pink. It's got to be like, yeah.
It's got
Yeah,
to be
no,
like
I've got
purple.
Rage of Ultron coming out on Friday. We got Batman and Superman next week. We have Grayson's coming out Wednesday. I have videos every day. What is it?
Just subscribe.
If you
if
want
own
comic
videos.
book
next
stuff
week.
and you don't know who I am at this point, go over there and look.
Like, I'm making videos and they're about comic book characters, whatever. So
We've got like a list of like 20 videos all scripted and ready to go, and it's like, what comes out next? and then like they're all scripted and ready to go, and then something happens like, hey, Deadpool just got a big bump. Now I gotta go write a Deadpool script.
You have 20 scripts ready to go?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I have one.
Oh, I've got them all backlogged. So what I do is like, what I basically do is I have a crap ton of backlog scripts. Like Grayson's been like done for like a month. We're putting it out on Wednesday finally. And what we do is if it's a hot topic like the Avengers movies or Deadpool, we do one of those videos. And then if we don't have a hot topic, I just pull one off the list of things we have backlogged.
That's really smart. Why haven't I been doing that?
I don't know, man. Like I just now started getting organized with all my videos. Like
Yeah.
I just started
No,
planning them
that's-
out like a couple weeks ahead of time. But
Well, like case in point, Rage of Ultron. Rage of Ultron wasn't planned. Everyone asked for it, so that's our Friday. So I wrote that one up, and then we pulled Grayson off the pile. Just hey, everyone wants Grayson. Let's do that. So okay, well, I mean, yeah. Thank you for joining us as usual, Eris. I know you and I were discussing. We're going to try to kind of get you on pseudo regular, but you probably have the busiest schedule out of all of us. So you have so many amazing things.
So many. No, it's fun. Yeah, I like to be on whenever I can. It's a good time.
It's a
yeah, man, it is. It is.
And I think outside of that, the weekly poll will be back next Tuesday. Just so that everyone's working, we are trying to get like an official person that uploads the podcast properly, and he's being a pain in the butt, but we're getting it done. So it will be on iTunes, it will be on SoundCloud. It should be up today, but knowing him, it'll be up by Saturday. And we are also still trying to move to a live stream platform, so that you'll have an actual weekly poll like live stream channel where you can check us out on our normal times, our off times, and the podcast will happen there. And there will be some additional discussions like Benny and Rob talking about stupid crap, or Sal and Benny arguing about why Spider-Man 2 is the greatest film ever, or that kind of a thing.
Oh my gosh.
And also don't forget, we do have theweeklypoll.net. That is our website where all of the weekly poll happenings kind of converge into a secret war. It's so funny.
Oh, can we really quick just that monologue from Telos where he's like, "Some of you were part of an infinite crisis, and this is a flashpoint." So
Well, I thought it was really cool. It's like there's a failed experiment, an injustice.
Yes.
And then in this first issue, you're like, I get it. I see what you did.
I see where you went there, Telos. Nice job.
For the record, I was a little pissed off that Injustice was regulated to 2 pages, and it was like, and they're done.
Because it's
With the
a
hand.
Mortal Kombat game. No,
No, it's probably one of the best-selling Elseworlds
I
books.
know. Why?
But you have to say, that hand was just a really cool shot.
It was really cool.
I mean, but here's the problem. Like we just then they jumped to Earth 2. They were just kind of like, well, like Earth 2 now, and I wasn't. I didn't care, to be honest. Like,
Like,
All
you
right,
more
so
justice,
anyway,
don't
let's
kill
not
them.
jump into another conversion.
yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
we're converging with another episode.
All right, guys. Next week we'll probably be talking about convergence and whatever else comes up. So, yeah, thanks. We got a comment that I'm the king of the bad jokes.
Yes,
Woo!
you are. Yes, you are.
All right, guys. Make sure you check out our community. Check out all of our channels. We appreciate all of your time. And as usual, we will see you next week right here at the Weekly Poll.
Peace.
Close the episode. Turn it off.
I'm turning.